one of the world's all-time favorite fantasy books, The Lord of the Rings. And again, part 2, book 2, of what is different from the extremely well-made movie and extremely well-written book. And hello, fellow BookQuesters! It is I, Aaron the BookQuester. Today I have this awesome, epic book to compare to the movie. The Two Towers, The Lord of the Rings, Part 2 by J.R.R. Tolkien, the master himself. And well, let's get right on to it. I was not able to find that many different details from the book and the actual movie. Of course, the amount of detail and talk and stuff and the pacing of it is definitely different, but still, definitely, there are some different parts. Well, first of all, it's quite a little bit of a major part. This is the part where, well, Gandalf. In the Two Towers, Gandalf returns from the depths of Moria. He was dead, but came back from the dead because apparently the death decided that it wasn't his time yet, and he had his little mission to fulfill. So he was sent back from the dead, in the movie at least, which is far more dramatic, I have to admit. But in the book, what actually happens is that the Lord of Air, the King of the Eagles, comes down and finds Gandalf, and the enormous eagle takes Gandalf to Galadriel, who clothes Gandalf in white and, well, heals him up, and he becomes Gandalf the White. And that's how actually he became Gandalf the White. It kind of does make more sense, but I feel like if Gandalf did come back from the dead as it was in the movie, it would have been a little bit more dramatic, and there would have been a sense of awe to it, Anyway, to the next point. The next point is that Saruman, who in the movie does not die in the book. So in the movie, Saruman is there, and then the Worm Tongue, as we call him, came up behind him and stabbed him. Then Saruman did a little turn down the tower, and he got stuck on a pike. So okay. Anyway, that's what happened, and it was quite dramatic, quite a scene in the movie. But in the book, it didn't happen, and Saruman didn't die. But what actually did happen was Gandalf broke Saruman's staff. And because Saruman couldn't do magic, Gandalf thought that, well, he can't really do anything, so he just left him in the tower and told the Ents, which is the enormous tree shepherds, to guard the tower night and day and don't let him out, Good for him. And that's what basically happens. And there are other different parts, such as little small parts, such as Legolas and Gimli parts, And the one thing is, Gimli talks about the beauty of the caves of Rohan. Really, we don't really see a lot of them in the movie. I don't think we even go inside, and even when we go inside, it's just their hovel, basically. But Gimli thought that there were veins of ore and beautiful stones growing, and he thought of it as, well, the great next dwarf city. Any dwarf would be moved by the sea and would make the entire cave into a beautiful dwarf house or enormous castle. I'm not sure what the dwarves do, but And then Legolas was incredibly moved by the enormous Ents because he had heard of them in legends and in his childhood stories, but he had never met one. And for Gimli, those enormous Ents were just terrifying and he didn't like them. And for Legolas, caves were, well, really bad because he was a woodland elf and he loved open and trees, basically. I mean, what did you expect of an elf? So Gimli and Legolas made a deal that after all this was over, when Sauron was defeated forever and ever, they would make a little bit of bargain. Legolas and Gimli would go to Ents and meet them with Legolas, and Legolas would go with Gimli into those beautiful caves that Gimli talks about. And those were basically all the parts that I could catch. Really, I bet there are more parts that are different, but mostly it's about like the pacing or a couple things. What I did like is that many parts are very same, very similar, or incredibly just same, which is really great. Especially some of the lines in the movies are directly from the book, such as, well, Saruman saying to Gandalf that, will you not stop when you have the 5 staff, the wizards, the 13 crowns of the 13 kings of men, and the key to something itself, and those lines are they're just ripped out of the book. It's literally word by word, which is absolutely awesome. And definitely I think that many of the scenes in the books, that as I imagined it, the movie made it. It's like what you see when you read the book is actually in the movie, which is very impressive of the movie, to be honest with you. And I think that's it. Pretty much, I think everyone knows what happens in this book. There's 2 towers, Saruman's tower, which is Isengard, and the Dark Tower, the Black Tower, which is where, Sauron's eye is like, there's a little bit of a picture here. Anyway, so yeah, there's those 2 towers and Rohan and all that stuff, and it's really cool. Definitely the favorite part of my movie and the favorite part in my book is the same, and also is word by word and same. The part where Gandalf fights against Saruman, who was inside Theoden King, who is the Lord of the Mark, Rider of Rohirrim, and I mean, he's the king. And when Gandalf freed Theoden from his spell, and where Wormtongue is, and that was basically my favorite part. It's incredibly dramatic, it's an incredible scene, and it's the exact same in the book, so I really love that scene, and definitely I could see more detail in the book. Like, I could imagine some things that the movie missed, but other than that, I think that they're pretty much the same. And like always, your BookQuester, Aaron the BookQuester. I mean, I'm not really like reviewing these books, but I feel like everyone knows what basically happens in these books. So, goodbye, have a fantastic day.